It did to me.
Oh, good. Okay. With that, I'm going to call this meeting to order. If you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next item, let's do the, so the approval of the minutes. Melkorka was not at the last meeting. Can she still approve the minutes?
She can still approve, yes, but she may choose to abstain. Well, if she does, we're. But if yes.
Right. Would you like to abstain or?
Well, do you guys have any issues with the?
I don't have any
No.
issues with the,
No.
I'm fine.
okay. So, I'll make a motion to approve the, meeting minutes from June 23rd.
I'll second.
Any other questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. We have a short executive session to discuss two items. One is a employment history, and then the next is a legal matter relating to possible litigation. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Thank you.
Since a legal matter that the village is considering.
Yes. Yeah, it's complicated. Okay.
Whether or not you do or not is.
All in favor? Oh, got Claire.
Aye.
Great. Okay, so we're headed off to executive session. It should not be long.
Let's do an estimated time exiting executive session.
You're right.
Well, I was off
By 5 minutes? Well,
She had much longer though.
Sorry, guys.
who's that? They used to be longer. I'm trying to think who used to make them longer, but anyway, we're all good. I need a motion to go back into regular session.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. I moved public comment early. Anyone have, like to offer public comment? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, we'll take that as a no. Maybe we can institute it at the end. On to regular business.
Too many things running.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, on to regular business. I'm going to start with an item that is not on the list. This is a resolution to raise non-union village employee wages. And I'm just going to read the resolution. This will be resolution number 26. Whereas certain village employees are not under a union contract, whereas said village employees have earned a raise in pay through dedication to their work and length of service, now therefore be it resolved that the following employees will receive the following increases effective 6/1/25, except as noted. These are all 3% increases. It is Rebecca Kent, Laura Hart, Jennifer Kavanaugh, Doris Balachik Schuing, Diana Devens, Sean Morrissey, and Peter Frisenda, and Robert Smith. And others who, we have one who's retiring next month. We have another who just started, actually a couple who just started, temporary position. And so that is the resolution that we have for this evening. I would take a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Thank you, Amy. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Next item is the Public Spaces Committee resolution to form. So this resolution I have reviewed this several times with the current chair of the Public Spaces Initiative. We agreed that Public Spaces Committee was a preferred name for this committee. And if you look, it's the same format that we have for other committees. Members appointed by mayor, approved by the board. Committee chair appointed by the mayor, approved by the board. Committee must be made up of a majority of village residents. A liaison from the board will serve. Committee members, 2 years, minimum of 3 members and a maximum of 10. And volunteers are welcome to attend and assist under the direction of the chair. Meeting guidelines are similar to all the others where it's public meetings when a quorum is present, and a virtual option will be made available when it's not outside. Powers and duties. So this is a little bit of a shift, but it's incorporating the Abraham's Park Task Force really did stem from the Public Spaces Committee. So this just puts it rightly there. So it starts with advising the village board on how best to enhance and preserve public green space, including Richard M. Abraham's Memorial Park. Reviewing and making recommendations to the village board on possible local laws to promote pollinators, native plants, and natural land use. Recommending to the village how to proceed with the pollinator pathway project. Recommending ways to incorporate art into public spaces and develop a procedure for that to happen. And implementing actions approved by the village board. Any thoughts, comments?
So the qualifications, stuff that we used for the other.
So that was
ones we're not
climate
using.
smart?
Yeah. Because those were things that we did. So we're not using that here. No, we don't need to use that here. I'm so sorry. This is not. I got confused because pollinators to me is a climate smart project, but I get how it's not. So I'm so sorry. My only other question was I thought that they did not want to keep the art part.
When Ash did a full
Review,
check-in
some people
with the whole committee,
Okay.
there were a
Cool.
couple who did want to keep that in. And actually, I actually like having it in
I'm
there.
happy to have it. I just wasn't
think
clear
it's
what they had changed.
Yeah, no, I think
Cool.
that was, you're right, that was added back in. Any other comments or thoughts?
The line that seek to promote and preserve the natural environment, both public and private.
Yeah.
I agree with the sentiment. I just wonder if we should just be specific that we are not looking to preserve private land.
Yeah, we should probably, let's just,
Where,
No.
yeah, that's in the whereas,
Yeah.
seeks to promote and preserve.
we should just.
How about seeks to promote and preserve the natural environment, comma, just to limit the last bit, right?
That's great.
Sure.
I mean, I think the idea was, so for example, with the pollinator pathway, you can help people understand what it means and encourage people to sign up or become part of. I think that was the idea. You also have the pollinator garden at the Elmendorf. And at the,
Yeah, I think it's a great goal. The preserving the natural environment.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I think
go
we should
together.
leave the word on public.
so the village seeks to promote and preserve the natural environment. Period? Or do you want in public?
I mean, the natural environment of.
Or the natural public
spaces,
environment?
or-
I mean, the neat thing about the pollinator pathways, people can, do it themselves, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there are ways, there could be things where like we figure out a mulch program, or they tell us we should, and that would, there's things that could be done that would improve the natural environment, that could, benefit or serve, private
Mhm.
landowners. But I guess it's just the way that it's phrased, it's a little awkward to me.
Yeah, I think if we're preserving natural environment, that should be public, but we can,
So are you okay with, whereas the village seeks to promote and preserve the natural environment, comma, now therefore be it resolved?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Does that work?
Yeah.
sure.
Rather than rewriting it? 'Cause-
Yep.
Okay, any other comments, discussion? Someone want to make a motion? Oh, this will be 27.
So me,
Thank you, Malcorka.
I
Second,
will second.
Amy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. I do not have recommended members for tonight, so we will pass over that. The next item is an exciting one. This is a recommendation from the sewer team to appoint a water sewer operator. And I want to give you all a little bit of context. We effectively contacted 6 operators. Camo Pollution Control, they are not taking new clients. VRI, Environmental Services, they did decline also. They said they were too busy. I actually had a lengthy conversation with the Dutchess County Wastewater Authority. That is a different scenario. They own and operate. So if they were to become the operator, they would have to, we would have to sell the entire operation to the Dutchess County Wastewater Authority. And as you might imagine, that's not a simple project. And then there's SEBI, it's either SEBI or CB, Environmental Services. We did receive a proposal from them. H2O Innovation, we received a proposal from them, and then North Dome Operations. And we also received a proposal from them. H2O and North Dome both submitted an RFP when we did the full, much more extensive RFP back in February. The sewer team is made up of me, our village engineer, Robert Flores, our DPW foreman, Jake Smith, and our utilities clerk, Jen Kavanaugh. And I did do reference checks on all of them. I spoke to several different people. And in reviewing the opportunities that we have, the team is recommending that we go with H2O. They are, we really felt like we didn't have a bad option. We could have gone in a couple different ways, but we felt that H2O is a larger organization. They have a level of professionalism. They have a separate safety team that will come in and do a safety review. They also, the person that will lead their team for us is actually a local Red Hook person. And what we're proposing is a 1-year contract. So this isn't a long-term contract. If it doesn't work out, we have the opportunity to make a change. And, you know, we're certainly gun shy at the moment. So we are going to be very on top of how they're functioning. We will work out with Delaware Engineering a series of audits to ensure things are functioning properly. But that is the sewer team's recommendation, and we feel very good about that. I have had a conversation with H2O on Friday with Roy Reisinger, and I think we're both looking forward to a partnership where we can work together and ensure that we continue with the proper operations that we have now gotten to with Delaware Engineering. So I have a resolution. Before I read the resolution, I just want to ask if you guys have questions.
Where are their main offices located? Go.
Poughkeepsie. Any other questions? So one thing that just also came up, so I have a draft contract, and I've asked our village attorney to review. So in the resolution, I'm asking for authority to negotiate and sign the contract with the village attorney. It turns out our village attorney, Kyle Barnett, is representing H2O in a collection action. He did indicate that it's winding down. It is, it's obviously not directly related to us at all. I consider it inconsequential, and therefore I would be willing to waive that conflict of interest. But if you guys feel differently, our attorney can provide somebody else to review the contract. It's a pretty straightforward contract. It is not, it's making sure that they do what they're supposed to do, and we have a clear scope of work. I'm comfortable having him do the review, but I want to make sure that we all need to be aware and okay with that.
I have zero, I don't think that's a consequential conflict at all.
Great. So I have added in a little whereas. So let me read the resolution, which will be resolution number 28. Whereas Delaware Engineering has succeeded in normalizing our sewer operations so that we are now regularly in compliance with our Speedies permit, and their proposal to be our water and sewer operator was meant as a temporary arrangement. And whereas the Village of Red Hook requires the services of a properly licensed water and sewer operator, whereas the village has reviewed several proposals to provide water sewer operator services and has determined that H2O Innovation Operation and Maintenance LLC will provide the best services. And whereas H2O is a properly licensed water and sewer operator, whereas the village is satisfied that H2O will provide the services required to continue proper operations of the wastewater treatment plant and the water treatment plant, whereas village attorney Kyle Barnett represents H2O in a collection action. I wasn't quite sure how to incorporate that, but that's the way I added that whereas. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook hereby appoints H2O Innovation Operation and Maintenance LLC as the village's water and sewer operator effective August 1st, 2025. And be it further resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to negotiate and sign in the contract in consultation with the village attorney with H2O Innovation Operation and Maintenance LLC. And be it further resolved, the village board considers the potential conflict of the village attorney unrelated and inconsequential and therefore waives any potential conflict. You guys good with that?
Yes.
I'll take a motion. Well, I will make the motion. I'll take a second. Great. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is an important step forward for our sewer operations, and I am grateful to be at this point. And I do think that H2O will bring a fresh eyes, fresh support, and keep us moving forward and operating well going forward. Okay. The next item on the agenda is food waste hauler for the compost program. So you have in your packets a community compost service agreement. Now, originally the discussion was to have this agreement be with Ozone. The person who has been doing the pickup for Ozone has negotiated with Ozone to do it themselves, separate and different from Ozone. So it is now Laughing Fox Farm that will be doing the hauling. He is literally the guy who's been doing it for the town. So there's no change in the operations. It's just who we're contracting with. And I am going to recommend for tonight that we do the term of this agreement for the 1st of September. We still need to get the individual countertop bins. The ones that had been spec'd are currently out of stock. And so hopefully those will either come back into stock or we'll have to determine when Fran returns and has some time to focus. Either these will come or they'll have to spec some other ones. I'm also recommending that we do at will written notice of at least 30 days notice. I met with Amelia from Ozone and I think it's Ray from Laughing Fox Farm. Yes, it is Ray. It's Ray Silverman because he signed the contract. So he's very good with these conditions. And if you'll note, the way we handled it is this is a contract between the Village of Red Hook and Laughing Fox Farm, but we reference the contract that he has with the town. And if there's a change in that contract that we are open to renegotiating. So with that, I have a resolution.
There's 2 space places in the contract.
Oh, no.
It says the ozone, and I think that's not what you mean.
That is correct.
Let me see.
I saw one. Where's the other one?
They're on the
Oh,
same.
there it is,
page.
the ozone will swap. Got it.
My other question, because this, thing predates me,
Uh-huh.
how long is the, pilot?
I believe it's 18 months.
18 months, okay.
It's either 18 months or it's 2 years, and we're supposed to be operating within 18 months of the grant.
Okay.
One of the two
And so
things.
what does the grant pay for, if not the hauling?
It pays
shed
for
and
the
the
shed
bins?
and the bins, and posters, communication,
Okay.
but not the hauling. That was specifically not included. So I have a resolution to engage Laughing Fox Farm LLC for a food scrap pickup service for the Village Compost Program. Whereas the Village of Red Hook received a county grant to pilot a compost program in the village, whereas the grant does not cover the cost of the food waste hauler. Whereas the only food waste hauler in the area has been run by Ozone, which has now transitioned to Laughing Fox Farm. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Red Hook hereby authorizes the mayor to sign the attached contract with Laughing Fox Farm with an at-will term allowing for a cancellation with a 30-day minimum notice. Anybody want to motion that?
So moved.
I
Thank
will
you.
second.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Great, I'm looking,
You gonna vote?
I did, yes, hello, yes, sorry.
You need to
Aye.
yell your ayes.
Well, I need to do it in, not at the same
Oh.
time as well. This is great. I look forward to having that come to fruition. That will be fun. And it'll get us some points. Okay, property tax receipts for the month of June. We have a report. Do I just need to read those out?
I can read them out. Property taxes due to the Village of Red Hook are $1,444,135.28 from 758 properties. Thus far, well, in June, we received $1,336,024.25. No penalties or finances because they haven't, finance charges because they haven't kicked in yet in the month of June. Leaving us with a accounts receivable outstanding to the village as of 7/1 of $108,111.03 from 59 properties, submitted by myself as the tax receiver.
Great. Thank you. Do you recall if that number of parcels outstanding is significantly different than?
No idea.
Got it.
It doesn't, it really doesn't matter because we get made whole at the end anyway.
True, good point. Okay, the next item on the agenda is, so New York, oh no, I'm going to jump ahead. Let me not do that. Narcan vending machine update.
Yeah, I can also do that as a report if you'd like, but.
No, it's on the regular business
That's
agenda.
true. So we were approved as a site by the Nonprofit Matters, that's their acronym. And the Department of Health let me know that. So we need to move to the next step, which would be to more seriously investigate locations. I have reached out and asked about an MOU. They are not in the habit of doing an MOU between the village and the nonprofit because the MOU is between the nonprofit and the county. So I have asked for certificates of insurance so that the village's liability is limited as is appropriate. And I have not yet heard back about that. But I think, Patrick, when I spoke to the lieutenant,
Lieutenant
Yeah.
Hildebrand, yes?
he had a suggestion for a location, but what we didn't do was go through that location with Public Works, with Jake,
Mhm.
to see what he thought of the feasibility of how that might be, sheltered slightly from the elements, et cetera. So it is a hardy machine. It can handle a certain amount, but so I will either do that or he will. And I guess by the workshop, I should have an answer on the insurance and hopefully more specifics on the location. So we can maybe vote on it.
And do we have a sense of what the timing is for the machines to?
The earliest we would get it would be mid-September, but more likely October.
Great,
Um, So,
that's
yeah,
good news.
it's
Thank you.
Oh, next one's me too.
Yes, it is.
So the mayor and I were working on the events permit process, and internal procedures, and building on an application that Maporka designed, that has just a few things that we're adding. This is in preparation for an events permit law. I mean, I should have printed it out and I didn't, so.
We can review it at the workshop if you'd
Workshop,
like.
yeah, sorry.
Let's do
I
that.
didn't-
No, it's
I
quite all right.
didn't,
Because the
I didn't
events law isn't
think
ready
that
either,
far.
so
Yeah,
I'll make a note.
thank you.
You
Sorry
got
about that.
Whoa, excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is New York class. So we passed a resolution number 21 this year to approve participating in the New York class municipal cooperative agreement. But the board wanted to have an internal investment policy as to how we were going to function. The treasurer and the controller have subsequently met with the treasurer of the Village of Rhinebeck, who is also on the board of New York class and has been using New York class for many years. And so we came up with this policy and really to just sort of get our feet wet and get it going, particularly because because of the way our taxes, we send out the tax bill, we get all the money, and then we spend it over time. There's a nice large chunk of funds that could be earning interest if we were participating in New York class. So the policy is as follows. Addresses the procedures by which the village treasurer may invest village funds in New York class. So a minimum balance will be kept in our accounts as follows. General fund, 50,000, water fund, 20,000, sewer fund, 20,000. I expect that over time we will adjust these, but this seemed like a place to start. The Village of Rhinebeck treasurer keeps very little. You can transfer funds. Actually, you can do it in less than 24 hours, though I believe she uses the policy of 24 hours. Yeah. The treasurer will be responsible for ensuring that there are always adequate funds in the village accounts. Funds transfer can be initiated by any one of the following three people: the village treasurer, Mary Beth DeFilippis, village mayor, Karen Smythe, or controller, Michelle Zagorski. Before the transfer can take place, a second person must approve the transfer. New York class has a dual approval process in which the village will participate. The three people listed in number 3 are the ones authorized to approve the transfer. And that was what we discussed as a financial team, and we felt comfortable with this as a process. Village of Rhinebeck, the treasurer, sends an email to the mayor saying, I did this. But again, she's been treasurer for what, 15, 20 years? So this felt like, and now we have an investment policy in our code. It definitely needs to be updated. There's a reference to investment vehicles that's a little vague, that again, it references a bank we don't use anymore. We'd like to remove the specific bank reference anyway. So that is something that I would like to follow up with, but I would like to I would love to approve this policy so that we can get started with New York class.
What happens when there's a new mayor or a new treasurer, a new comptroller? Do we just update?
So my notion would be, and we can also add this to the policy if you'd like, is that this should be reviewed annually.
And could you drop the names and just say what the role?
I thought, it's funny, I thought about not having the names and then I put in the names but because it's a policy that we can change
Individual fiscal
at any
responsibility.
time, it
Yeah.
felt easy to change. If it were in the code,
Mhm.
then the roles would be the ones, but it's because it's a separate policy that felt like it was okay. Do you want to add annual review?
Yes, please.
So number 5, this policy will be reviewed annually by the board.
Is it, I don't know if this is allowed, but can you put reviewed annually by the board as needed so that if there is no need for a change, it does not have to be reapproved?
I guess my notion on the reviewing annually is you can review it, acknowledge you reviewed it, and leave it the same.
Got it.
That was sort of how I
Yep.
was thinking you'd do that.
I intended to add it to the April meeting. The
The
When we-
reorg meeting,
reorg when we
yes,
do all
Yeah.
the reviews
everything.
and policies.
Yep. I think that's perfect.
So we need to vote on this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, and this, I figured we could just do as a motion to approve the New York class investment policy.
So moved.
Thank you. Ms.
Second.
Walker. Thank you, Amy. Any further questions?
Just that I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm
And
excited
it-
about this.
Yeah, savings that we can put towards the taxpayers.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. So the next item of business, we have our info booth that is out here in the parking lot. It was originally constructed by the Red Hook Chamber of Commerce, and they had an easement with Key Bank, who owned the parking lot at that time. When the village took over ownership of the parking lot, the easement was not transferred, so the info booth became under the ownership of the village at that time, which was 2014.
Yes.
I think. And so it's been at least 25 years since the info booth was constructed. And the info booth, the idea was to be an information center with brochures for tourists, et cetera. I mean, certainly the way people function and how they get their information has changed quite a bit. And we also have had some issues with some break-ins into the info booth. The chamber used to unlock it in the morning and lock it in the evening, and that was no longer happening by the chamber for a number of years. But I was recently approached by Sarah Jane from Shopgirl, and she felt that the map and the brochures are actually an important asset for the businesses in the village. And she said that she would take over the responsibility of locking and unlocking, and that there was a small group that would like to spruce it up on the inside. And actually Mel Corca had this great idea of creating an agreement with, and logically it would be with the chamber, to identify the key points of what the agreement and arrangement would be so that everybody's clear. We've talked a lot about redoing that whole space there and reimagining what it could be, which I think is super exciting, what those possibilities are. But we are not going to get to that in the next 6 months. So I just put together some points, and I wanted to take the opportunity to talk with you guys about some of these points came from Mel Corca anyway, but just to clarify, because with these points, I can then give it to the attorney and have him draft an agreement, and then move forward if you all are open to that. So the idea would be, it would be between the village and the chamber. It would be for a 6-month period. Say we start August 1, that goes till February 1. Insurance, the village would be named insured. That's certainly a discussion, but any artwork deemed special to be installed on removable panels, any artwork painted directly on the walls will be able to be painted over and or removed. The idea there is just to make it clear that we're not looking for any artwork to be considered permanent or to be considered, and special may not be the right word, but anything that's
I
going to
think
be.
If you if you just change it to any artwork painted directly on the walls will be painted over and or removed. That sort of sets it as like,
As opposed to the first sentence, just
Correct.
eliminate the first
no,
sentence.
I mean, yeah, yeah, you can put in that some other.
Oh,
things
will
could
be instead
installed.
of able to be. Okay,
Yes.
will be painted over. Got it.
Um,
Got it. Didn't read that right. Then the next, the Red Hook Chamber will be responsible for locking and unlocking the door. Red Hook Chamber responsible for ensuring that when weather conditions call for heat, that the heat is not put higher than 65 degrees. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't an unreasonable use of heat. There is a little heater in there. And the village owns the property, and this is a lease to use for 6 months, keys to be turned back over to the village at the end of the lease unless an extension is agreed to in writing. Until I did this quickly.
So, oh, you were about to ask I was just gonna ask.
What?
If they put stuff inside, right? Like, I
Mhm.
don't know what it means to spruce it up, and that stuff is stolen or damaged. Is it the village's insurance? It's sort of, it would seem like it would be, but I'm not sure that, because if they're responsible for locking them, but someone could break it, you know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
So that then, so if the village is a named insured on the insurance, presumably that's a general liability insurance, so that if someone gets hurt in or around the
Right.
info booth,
but
that's
just so that
covered?
they're clear on what that insurance means. It's not gonna cover if they put in, I don't know, some
Well,
glass
unless,
shelving and someone,
unless,
punches it out.
unless the chamber has insurance that covers what's inside.
yes, exactly. So, but the villages isn't gonna cover that.
Right.
I have a question about the repairs that they're doing. Is that considered a gift? If they're doing.
Oh, their
to the-
labor.
And then
Hmm.
if, like the same thing, if repairs are needed to be done, is that something that they will do and then they, would apply for our insurance? Or are we required to have the DPW go and repair things? And
Maybe we should specify different types of repairs.
Yeah, to the
Right.
building exterior and to fixtures inside. I
Yeah.
don't totally know if the fixtures inside are considered.
Well, the whole thing is ours.
Yeah, okay.
So so I mean, certainly,
So
I mean, if a light
repairs,
bulb breaks, I'd want them to replace the light bulb, but if
Yeah.
the fixture itself is no longer functioning, I think that becomes our responsibility.
So can we do something where we say that any repairs that are required are done with your authorization first, just. and then-
or what if it's like the way a lease is if you're renting an apartment? So it's, repairs to things that are there when nothing else is there are like before you move in. So the heating, the electricity, the building itself, and any of the shelves and stuff that are already in there. If those are damaged, then
So
We
we'll
fix
just say
them,
that the
but-
villages will be responsible for the exterior. Utilities,
yeah,
and the chamber will be responsible for
Maintaining the interior fixtures.
maintaining the interior. I'll just say interior. And we'll see what we come up with.
maybe ask the lawyer if a statement like that the chamber can't bill the village for things would cover Melcorca's point about like if they're painting or whatever it is that they're gonna do to make it nicer, the village isn't paying for that. Right? Is that what you were saying?
No, you were asking whether the work they're doing would be considered a gift,
Yeah.
because it would be improving an asset the
Oh,
village
I
has.
see.
But
I'll
I
ask
mean,
that question of, if
Yeah.
it's considered a gift, I think then we just have to put a value on it and accept it.
Should we have a thing at the end about either party can cancel, blah, blah, blah?
Sure.
the other thing is we could say that it's in kind that they are being able to use the space for no charge.
Yeah, that's true.
That could be like.
It's
that,
an
yeah,
exchange.
It's understood.
Yeah.
Sorry to be,
No, you're absolutely right. That's,
why I wanted to bring it up. Either party can cancel at any time.
And are they allowed to paint it bright pink, the exterior? I would be all for that.
My intention would be the painting would be inside.
But perhaps make sure that they're aware
Put that in there.
that they're.
I mean, Pepto-Bismol, I think it would really stand out.
It would.
Match the pink towel.
Marked unlimited to inside. Yeah, I actually think the DPW is planning to touch up the paint
They
on
did.
the outside. Oh, they did it already?
Yeah.
Shows you hadn't looked.
No, Cobra, I do not believe Pepto Pink is in the recommended color scheme.
It would probably clash with the salmon and color of Village Hall somehow.
Never too much.
The slowly aging span.
I am a fan of pink, but that might be over the top.
Glitter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Glitter
glitter,
optional.
you can never quite have enough glitter. Great, so I will forward that to the lawyer and I will also talk to Sarah Jane just to make sure that we're in agreement as to where we're headed with this. Next item, which is not on the agenda, which I'm adding to the agenda, I know that I've spoken with both of you. We are in the window of applications for inclusion in the agricultural district for Dutchess County. And there was an application for a parcel in the village. It is parcel 493612, which is associated with 35 Fisk Street. And in review, which is in the middle of the R10,000 district. Sorry, it's 25 Fisk Street, I said that wrong. And in consultation with our land use attorney, I put together a letter. I've spoken with both of you, a letter in opposition to including this parcel into the agricultural district. And I just wanted to formalize your agreement that we would send this letter as the village.
Was anyone able to, that public hearing is tonight, was anyone able to represent the village?
Yes, the first gentleman. He really doesn't like public speaking, so I owe him. Just to add it to the list. And as I think you know, I think that the notion is that its inclusion would be inconsistent with the village principles was the word used. It is in an intended densely populated residential district. The property access is from Fisk and Thompson Street, which are residential streets, not appropriate for commercial farming equipment. Inclusion in the agricultural district would allow commercial animal husbandry operations at a level that would be inconsistent with the village's recently adopted animal husbandry law. The property is undersized to support a viable farm operation as defined by the Ag and Markets Law. They define that as, I believe, 7 acres, and this property is 4.22 acres. And so that's pretty much the general motion. So I would like to take a motion to approve sending a letter in opposition for the public hearing for the inclusion in the agricultural district 21.
So moved.
Oh,
I'll second it.
Take your pick.
Yeah.
Any further questions?
No,
All
thank
in-
you for doing this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay. Let's go to reports and then we've got one more
I
thing.
guess announcements.
Oh, yes, sorry. Next meeting. Now, our workshop meeting is going to be Monday, July 28th, 7 p.m. here. And then the next board meeting is August 11th, 2025, 7 p.m. here as well. And on to the treasurer's report. Come on down.
Turn the roll for Mary Beth.
wait, so August 5th?
11th. Did I say 5th? No, 11th.
You didn't.
turn it on and then start talking, and it
Oh, it's
It-
on.
takes a minute.
Hello?
There you go.
Yeah,
Yes, you just need to bring it.
Stand.
We obviously haven't yet, but you need to hold it close to your mouth.
Okay.
There you go.
Good evening. The village's finances for the period ended June 30th are as follows. In the general fund, we had $1,504,851.20. And as Jen and the mayor talked about, quite a bit of that were tax receipts for the period. In the water fund, we had $202,292.89. And the sewer fund, we had $49,891.29. In the payroll clearing account, we had $57,452.75. In the heart scrabble account, we had $5,994.48. Village green account held $5,264.68. Our health insurance deductible account held $10,555.64.
Mary Beth, just before you move on, just to clarify, the payroll clearing account is truly a pass-through. So the money that it's in there, that just means it was there, it was transferred in to pay out payroll. And so it must be a timing thing that has it so high. Thank you.
So for reserve checking balances, in the fire department, we had $10,554.60. For the police department's reserve, we had $18,136.28. In our USDA water reserve, we had $147,568.58. In the highway reserve, we had $605.61. In the snow reserve, $3,484.84. In the tower reserve, $18,820.53. In unemployment reserve, $7,465.35. Court reserve, $3,505.15. Then the office reserve account, we held $1,033.41. As for monthly expenses, in the general fund, we had three extraordinary expenses, and our expenses totaled $563,153.44. The three extraordinary expenses were, the first two are retroactive payments for service from the Red Hook Fire Company for our protection services. And these were contracts that have been in negotiation that were settled in June. So for the fiscal year 2023-24, there was a payment of $120,305. And for the fiscal year 2024-2025, there was another $120,305. The third extraordinary expense was $99,244.81, and that was for our annual liability contracts with Marshall and Sterling. The village's
Insurance, right.
liability, nothing to do with health insurance. As for the water fund, we had $51,083.74 in expenses. The payroll clearing account had $2,136.94. And the sewer fund was $33,600.95. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you very much. We need a motion to accept. I don't know why I always forget.
Yes, you need a motion to accept.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
so moved.
Thank you. Second? I'll second. All in favor? Any questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
We only paid people $2,000 in June?
No, I think that's just an expense that was
That's
paid
just the
out of
payroll
that.
cost. It's
Yes.
not.
It's not the pay. So the payroll clearing account monthly expenses,
Those are only the checks we pay.
So those are sort of the administrative costs.
Okay, so the money that's ACH'd through your payroll company is not included in that.
Yeah, that's
Got
what Karen was talking about.
Oh, yeah,
It
no,
was
no,
a
that's fine.
timing thing that our payroll is probably.
It's so
about
big, yeah, it's about to come through, yeah.
5,000.
Those, so the payroll expenses would fall under general fund, water fund, and sewer fund.
Got it.
Any other questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you very much. Okay, now we have reports. So I start with mine. Do it this way so that I don't forget. So the police report for the month of June. There were 329 incidents, 170 in the village of Red Hook, 144 in the town of Red Hook, and 15 in the village of Tivoli. There were 115 water tower security checks. There were 91 uniform traffic tickets, 61 of those in the village of Red Hook, 18 in the town of Red Hook, and 12 in the village of Tivoli. And parking tickets, there were 4 in the village of Red Hook, 1 in the town of Red Hook, and none in the village of Tivoli. There were 6 arrests, 4 in the village of Red Hook, 2 in the town of Red Hook, and none in the village of Tivoli. I do not have the fire report for June. I expect to get those at the next meeting. So for the sewer department, quite a bit of information. Operations in June have shown a marked improvement. For the new plant, all 4 samples tested, which was 6.5, 6.11, 6.18, and 6.25, were in full compliance. For the old plant, which was restarted in the end of May, the 6.5 sample was in compliance except for total suspended solids, which was 29.5 versus the limit of 10.0. The old plant has been in full compliance for the remaining samples for the month. DEC approved our going to sampling twice a month beginning in July. And we received no odor complaints in the month of June. And we have received none through today in the month of July as well. DPW Foreman Jake Smith set up an alarm to go off if the EQ or equalizer tank gets too full. It has sounded several times recently. The alarm just makes noise. It's not currently set up to contact anyone. We are grateful to the neighbors who have called it in. This has averted an overflow. We met with Vector Security on Friday. They are our current alarm system this past Friday to get a quote for upgrading and expanding our alarm system at the wastewater treatment plant. We received a consent order from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation on July 3rd via email. This consent order stems from the notice of violation dated April 14th, 2025, from the DEC site inspection visit on March 21st, 2025. Our attorney is in touch with the DEC attorney to review. We have requested that the flow violations be corrected, as those should not be violations based on the increase in allowable flow due to the addition of the new plant in early 2023. Further negotiations will take place in the coming days. The consent order will be added to the website. I would imagine that'll be tomorrow. Engineer operator Robert Flores has submitted his May report, in which shares his review of the operations and the changes that have been made. He is working on plans showing all modifications done and proposed. These plans will be submitted to DEC for approval, which is part of, this will also be part of our response to the DEC consent order. One of the things that you will find in the May sewer report is the determination that there were some elements of the design of the PureStream plant that did not function as advertised. And so adjustments and some modifications to design have become necessary. But that will be part of the plan that will be submitted to DEC for approval. And then on our agenda, we have the operator recommendation from the sewer team that we contacted 6 companies. 3 3 proposals. We went through all that. And we will hold our 4th public information meeting Tuesday, July 15th, which is tomorrow. Here in Village Hall courtroom, we will share the latest information we have on the operations of the wastewater treatment plant. I will not read the Delaware engineering report. I think we've covered sort of the basic piece, and the good news is that we, and this would be the royal, we have gotten to operating the wastewater treatment plant in compliance. So that is, and did it for all of June, waiting for results for the first lab results for July. But so far, things look like they've been going well, as they should. Okay. Sewer, well, let's see. All right. All of the rest is in my mayor's report, which I'm going to go through in my order. Personnel, the position of payroll account clerk was posted to Indeed. 17 applications were received. Phone interviews are proceeding with 4 applicants at this time. Our current account clerk is retiring in mid-August. The WIA water projects, additional financing took place on June 26. A disbursement request to EFC has been fulfilled. There are a few punch list items to complete before the final completion is achieved for all projects. Sewer project 1 is the new plant. Major outstanding item is the single audit. We are still waiting for the final audit from the audit firm. The last item that they were waiting for was a determination originally requested of the Office of the State Controller regarding the transfer of funds from the water fund to the sewer fund. The Office of the State Controller responded that I will share the specifics of what they said, but they basically said, we are not going to give an opinion. This is a legal opinion, and our attorney is working on it, and I believe I might have gotten a response today. So once I get a chance to look at my emails again, I will have that information and put that forward. And so that should then lead us to finalizing the audit from 2022. That should finalize that piece. And then the final MWBE report from Carver has been submitted to DEC. It was the 3rd quarter of 2025, which is April, May, and June, and that was submitted as final on July 10th. There were no meetings of the Tributary Coalition. Sewer Project 2, so that would be an expansion of the expansion project. The Tributary Coalition and subsequently several residents have requested the village rescind the resolution adopting a negative declaration after completing the full environmental assessment form on July 15, 2024. I have reviewed this with our land use attorney and Delaware Engineering, who both assisted the village in its preparation, and I am awaiting their formal response. Sawkill Watershed Committee. The leadership team met on Wednesday, June 25th in Village Hall. Attendees included Chair Karen Schneller McDonald, Leah Papica, Amy Shine, Ruth Ford, Sheila Buff, Henry Woods, and Jonathan Brady attended as a guest. He is the CSC coordinator on the town's Conservation Advisory Council. Jonathan shared that the town's CSC certification has expired. He was there to see if there were any projects that could be included in the town's application for renewal. The team then discussed their upcoming presentation of testing results from 17 sites, all related to the Sawkill and tributaries around, that was funded by the town. The date for the presentation is July 16th, which is this Wednesday, 7 p.m. at Town Hall. Several team members are in the process of reviewing and writing up their analysis of the results. Chair Karen Schmeling McDonald also brought up the discussion of finding a fiscal sponsor so the group can apply for grants. Bard College has been a significant funder for many years. However, their funding is not always consistent and may be reduced in the future. With a fiscal sponsor, this group would be able to apply for grants and find other ways to fund their operations. The team also discussed their mission and future plans. Karen indicated that the original model for the committee was to be community-based These meetings of the leadership team were meant to be a way to get the committee back on track after COVID. She feels it's time to get back to more community-based meetings. She also indicated that she will be stepping down as chair soon, though no immediate date was given. So I encourage everyone to consider coming Wednesday night to Town Hall. It's 17 sites around, and they did more detailed testing, and in particular, they tested for some of the more permanent type things that we've become aware are much more concerning, PFAS being one of them. Red Hook Library, the Red Hook Public Library had their May board meeting on June. Oh, well, they would have had their June board meeting on June 18th. Attendees included President Anna Gregg, Secretary Sarah DeVere, board members Leah Bonatka, Gareth Davies, and Kelly French, and Executive Director Alex Geller. Absent were Treasurer Grace Kashigan, Vice President Martha Tepepa. The policy committee shared that former BARD security director did a safety walkthrough of the library building. He offered a few suggestions for improvements. The strategic plan was established for 2025 to 2030. 4 priorities are culture, community, early literacy, and sustainability. The Treasury report noted that the accountants are completing an insurance audit. They're awaiting the final check from DASNY to close out the porch project. There was a discussion around ebooks and how Red Hook and Tivoli share expenses. The summer reading program is underway. Alex reported that patterns of use of previous years, pre-COVID, have returned. Parking lot paving, June 30th, the bid package was to be ready. Completion is slated for October 3rd. Podcast equipment will be on loan with a podcast area set up on the 3rd floor. This was Sarah DeVere's last meeting. She resigned as of the end of the meeting, as she is moving to Michigan later this summer. She was thanked for her service. As a guest, I shared dates of the Pride Parade Festival on June 22nd and Hardscrabble coming up September 20th. I also mentioned the new equipment coming to Village Hall for language access / translation, mentioning that more information will follow. And for more information, you can find their board packet on the library's website, redhooklibrary.org/Board of Trustees. Their next board meeting will be Thursday, July 17th at 6:30. Busy week for meetings this week. Public Spaces Abrahams Park. I met with Ash Ricard, chair of the Public Spaces Initiative, again on June 26th. We reviewed the committee resolution details. This resolution, as you saw, is now ready to be brought to the board for review and discussion. It is on the meeting agenda. Climate Smart Community Task Force. The task force met on June 12th to review status and share the approved task force resolution. Attendees included Karen Smythe as liaison, Betsy Brower, Tony Salvia, and Alex Geller. We reviewed what documentation we had and what our next steps should be. The compost program will gain the village Climate Smart Community points. Having the compost sign up on this page may be a good location for it. Betsy Brower and the mayor are working on a vehicle inventory, which will also provide CSC points. There is a subgroup that was previously formed called Safe Routes to School. Given all the other focus on walkability and speed calming, we will be discussing the purpose of this subgroup. The mayor met Scott Kleinberg of Cornell Cooperative Extension, who has been tasked with helping the village gain CSC certification. Scott is newly assigned to the village. Turns out that the village has an account with the New York State climatesmartny.gov. And that's actually the website that you use to make your application when you're ready to see if you can be certified. The mayor coordinated getting Scott access to our account. Scott indicated that he would be willing to take care of uploading documents to our account. All this can be done in advance, but the application needs to be complete before we hit submit. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 17th, which is this Thursday at 4 p.m. in Village Hall, 2nd floor conference room. We will be reviewing the recommended programs and documentation required to identify a priority list, an action plan that can then be presented to the board. At the next meeting, the recommended list of members should be available for approval. I think that I covered everything I was supposed to cover. Yes. On to Melcorca.
Red Hook Together meets every first Thursday of the month. As is customary, there's no official meeting for the month of July. Bard CC did host a gathering to celebrate Sarah Sierra, who was moving away, and who in their absence will be leaving a vacant board seat on the Red Hook Public Library Board. Also of note is that the Red Hook Area Chamber Director, Agatha Backyar, is stepping down due to her relocating out of the Red Hook area in the foreseeable future. Both these departures will be noticed, as Sarah and Agatha have been visible contributors to community-wide efforts over the past years. Village of Red Hook Indigenous History Project, no update at this time. Town of Red Hook Comprehensive Plan, the town met on June 24th and discussed their community engagement plan. Not the town, the committee, sorry.
Nice.
Committee members were tasked with suggesting persons and or groups to partner with for outreach and or interviews. The committee meets monthly, 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the fourth Tuesday at Town Hall. Village of Red Hook Communications. In order to comply with New York State law, the village website and all village emails is a .gov domain, redhookvillage.gov. Please update your email address books as well as website links. I have informed our Civic Plus account manager, Mark Beasley, that we will be working the next few months to update the content and organization of the village website ahead of committing to a redesign package. The redesign package would update the look of the site. However, the redesign process requires us to have a finalized new venue, as well as updated content to facilitate the design team working efficiently on creating an attractive template or skin of the site. The last iteration of content reorganization was done in 2021, and that effort was focused on improving transparency by increasing the amount of information made available digitally. During that effort, a lot of content was added, and there was an effort to promote services and stay informed by adding tabs in the main menu. 4 years later, we will be reorganizing the main menu to be more intuitive by moving individual services within the departments tab and adding a contact and living here menu to better facilitate common inquiries. If there are any website features or information that you would like to see on the website, please reach out by email to mcarville@redhookvillage.gov. Also, if you have any digital photographs, digital reproductions or of work depicting the village and or video footage of the village that you would like to contribute to the website, we are looking to feature images of the village throughout the site. Attribution to the content creator will be included with any media the village chooses to publish.
I can't believe it was 4 years ago that you did all that work. Wow. Feels like yesterday.
And the white hair to prove it. The Red Hook Welcomes Bard Students banner has arrived and is slated to be displayed during the last 2 weeks of August. Village and zoning review. There was a meeting held on June 17th, 2025. In attendance was the mayor, myself, representatives from REPCO, the village's planning attorney, Victoria Calodero, and Bonnie Franson from Nelson and Pope, which is the firm who was hired to write proposed Gateway North law.
Just for clarification, it's Nelson, Pope, and Voorhees.
Thank you. We discussed the challenges set for a developer to propose a project without a confirmed project schedule for the sewer expansion. We also spent time reviewing parts of the draft law which apply to the 50-hand parcels slated for housing development. There was some discussion around the setback requirements from Route 9 being clarified to still maintain a proportionally correct relationship to the existing buildings around the North Gateway, while realistically accommodating a multi-unit building with parking located in the rear south of the existing barn. Links to the existing 2/26/25 draft of the Gateway North Law are linked in the March 13th special workshop agenda. So then for the building department, court building permits issued 18, certificates of occupancy issued 0, temporary certificates of occupancy 1, certificates of compliance 5, and municipal searches 1. There were no orders to remedy, stop work orders, do not occupy notices, court appearances, complaints, or fire inspections. There was a planning board meeting on the 12th, June 12th, 2025, planning board meeting items. There was a site plan public hearing for Thomas LeGrand's St. John Street. It was tabled to July 10th. Signage approval granted to 21 East Market Street, and signage for 19 West Market Street. was tabled to July 10th. And there was no meeting in June, the zoning board of appeals. And the total amount for the
Fees.
for fees was $3,109.15. I'm gonna get better at that, sorry.
That's quite all right. And I can add, we've had temporary help in the building department, and we are working our way back to having our regular Lara there more often. So she's been back in the office part-time, and she's working her way back to full-time. So that's great news. Okay, on to Trustee Smith.
Do you want to read that?
stuff?
Sure. This is the materials management for the month of June. There was 1.29 tons of commingled, 0.65 cardboard, 0.68 paper, so total recycling 2.62. The garbage dumpster, so that dumped 5 tons, is that what that means? And then garbage at UCRA was 5.83.
Mm-hmm.
Total amount of tags sold is $2,383. The costs, so the cost of the garbage was $807.05. Fuel, $48.54. Contaminated recycling, we did have contaminated recycling of $2.82. And then the cost of the Royal Welsh dumpster was $218.51, for total cost of $1,076.92. And actually, we did have some scrap metal sales of about $460 this month.
I was just about to try and state from memory what Brent used to say about the scrap metal.
Yeah, we will have Fran update that in the August meeting.
Anyone who wants to donate scrap metal.
But we have tens of thousands of dollars that have been.
Yeah, no, I
received
wasn't,
that way.
I was laughing at my
I
ability
could
to
hear
hear
it
it in my
this
head.
month, so.
Well, there you go.
Oh.
And the red lawn sign.
Okay, now I'm up.
Yes.
So I will do the water department first. For the month of June, the village expended a total of almost 8.7 million gallons, 8,687,148, for a daily average of 289,572 gallons. All samples were negative for total coliform and E. coli. The next water department meeting will be next week. And in terms of the bill utility, the water bills, is this different? Am I looking at just water, or is this also sewer?
It's utility bills.
So it's both.
So it's both, and so I will read those. So there was $415 of utility bills issued, with $390.19 of finance charges. Payments received equal $5,627.84. And outstanding owed to the village as of July 1st for water and sewer, $7,720.12. Thank you, Jen. So for events, as we have not yet passed the events law, I am letting the board know about an application and an interest form. But it's not really an application because we didn't do the events law yet, but so Hardscrabble Community Association, that's not the right name. Hardscrabble is going to be on Saturday, September 20th, 2025. All portions of that plan have gone through our application, and I made a few changes and spoke with one of the main organizers by phone. We will have one follow-up meeting and then a meeting a week out from the event. We also have interest was expressed in the date of October the 1st, 2025 for Day of the Dead. And they're going to get me more details about that in time for the workshop. But those are two events that, well, Hardscrabble has happened far more frequently, of course, or longer. But Day of the Dead has been consistent annual event. And they are reconceiving it slightly to, in hopes of making it more accessible. What I think of as the I can't drive 55, but it is in fact the speed limit, school speed zone. I got some data from Anthony, who's the head of the transportation department for the district, on how many high
For the
school students.
School district?
What did I say?
No, you just said district and I'm.
School district,
Thank
yes,
you.
so sorry.
Just
For the
clarifying.
school district. On how many high school students live too close to school for the bus. When our consultants did the traffic analysis, they did not observe as many pedestrians or bicyclists going to school. So the school district supplied some additional data that we will use. In the realm of grants, I met again with Corey from Delaware Engineering, who is working on the income survey that would be required for our centralized application for sewer Part 2 expansion. We have 36 households that have not been reached yet. We will do potentially an email to those households. There's a lot of small pieces of very wrinkly, formerly sweaty paper, but we got through that. And that is.
Great, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So the next light item is general business. And this is an opportunity for us to have a conversation about whether or not we want to, as a board, make a statement as it relates to the potential eminent domain acquisition of the boat club. And so this is an opportunity to talk about that, to see how, if we have an appetite for making any statement, and if we did, what it would be. I guess I can start by saying I'm not sure that I'm prepared to take a position on whether or not it's a good idea. But I do think that the current conversations have become disruptive and divisive, and I don't think it's healthy for the broader community. I know that we've talked a little bit about how there doesn't appear to be a plan, so it's not clear what the costs will be, and that's concerning, just because sometimes when you don't articulate those costs or don't lay out a plan, then you can get surprised on the other side with what those costs might be. And certainly from a village point of view, the funding that would be used would be the Community Preservation Fund. And would there be opportunities within the village to put some of that funding to use to the benefit of the villagers?
Because village residents do contribute. I mean,
we are part of the town.
no, I know. I just
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to make it clear
sure.
why we would be interested.
Well, and I think
Not
that,
just
and
because
the
it's
Community Preservation Fund was set up to cover both
Mhm.
the village and
That's
the
what
town and the village. Thoughts?
I agree that it's, well, you didn't say that it's a good idea. It's a nice idea to have one, right? That's the idea. It's a nice idea. It's a good goal. I don't agree with how it's going forward now. I have substantial concerns about how it's going forward now.
I think that many municipal governments face having plans that lay out goals or ideals for multi-year at a time. But that what worries me is the notion that these are mandates, as opposed to things that need to be applied in ways that make sense financially, and also from a community perspective. And I think anytime you have something that brings out hundreds of people to a public hearing, that needs to be taken very seriously. And I haven't at least heard a public response to that input other than that, yeah, I shouldn't say that. I withdraw that part. But I do think that it needs to be taken more seriously. But mostly, I think that this notion that the waterfront plan is a mandate and not a document, that it's the responsibility of elected officials to interpret responsibly, and sustainably. And the sustainability I'm referring to is primarily financial, as presumably it would be very expensive for insurance purposes. It would also have a potential impact on the village, the police department, as it would be a different type of emergency and rescue. And that would have to be accounted for in any contract that the town had with the village police. So those are my immediate thoughts. I'm wondering if the village of Tivoli has any plans that you know of to say anything?
I do not know.
Okay, no, I was
I
just
did
curious
not,
if they.
I have not made that connection. How would you all like to proceed? Would you like to agree on a few bullet points and then try and put together a letter, and then we can confirm that it works?
That's fine with me.
So what I heard was that it has the potential to be a good goal, but there are concerns about how it's moving forward. Concerns about,
I think waterfront access for the public is a good goal.
Yeah,
Yes.
that particular,
got it, okay.
yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that for you.
Waterfront
okay.
access,
Said at the same time.
good goal. I heard concerns that community input was not being considered enough.
Yeah,
Financial. I guess lack of financial clarity.
mhm.
I would add, I find it distressing how disruptive and divisive it has turned into.
Agreed. Yeah, that's
You know, I think we have spent a great deal of time thinking about how we can bring people together in our community. And this feels very much like something that is dividing people,
Mhm.
which is, and that, you know, that can happen, and there can be some difficult conversations. And obviously, we've had our own issues with the sewer operations, but I think the goal should be bringing people together.
And I think that the bullet point about taking the public response seriously, or not that that's not being taken seriously, but taking it more deeply, is part of contributing to the divisive nature. If people feel dismissed or not heeded, you don't have to agree with someone to take them seriously. I'm so sorry, my computer
You just died? That's
Yeah.
okay. We are, okay.
I will lurk creepily in
There you go.
the mayor's,
There you go.
there you go.
Sorry.
So I think with those bullet points, I can throw something together, and then we can, if need be, we can throw together an emergency meeting to just review that. I'll confirm what the timing is for the town. I believe they have until sometime in August before they have to vote, or
It would be, I mean,
resolve
if
something.
the timing can work, that Fran would also be able to be here that would be
yes,
great. Yeah,
absolutely. So maybe we should just plan to do it at the workshop.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that'd be great.
But if someone wants to take on writing a draft, that would be great, so we have something to work.
I don't mind doing that if you
If
have enough
you-
on your
If,
plate.
I,
Sure. Yeah.
I would be more than happy to have you do that, and I'll give you my notes.
And if people want to, they can email you.
Yes,
I'm gonna give you these two little things too.
Great.
Great, good
Thank you.
good discussion.
I think it's important.
Me too.
Yeah, I do too. I think it, I've hesitated for quite a while. I think, but I think it has reached me in many different ways, and I think it's become, I think it's time to perhaps make a statement. Okay, with that, I need a motion to pay bills after audit.
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any further business? Hearing none, I'll take an motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Good
You
meeting.
heard me think second.
What?
I said, you heard me think second.
Six.